Very. And of course, to make sense of all you've heard so far tonight, I'm now being joined in the studio by the journalist, political commentator, and Arise News analyst, our own very Dr. Constance Ikokwu. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Sambo.
Yeah, so President Tinubu's government says it's going all out for
Sambo?
reforms. Well, all of them. I mean, he says it's going all out for reforms, and he's picking the Oronsaye report to actually start from there. I was worried actually about potential job losses, but the Director General of the BPSR, Bureau of Public Service Reforms, that we featured earlier, said it's being worked upon so that it will be minimalized. What do you foresee in these reforms? Well,
let's start by saying that from an efficiency perspective, the Oronsaye report is a brilliant piece of document. What it does is that it tries to bring some sanity into a rather lackluster civil service. It's critical in view of the fact that it sort of tries to sanitize the backbone of government, because the civil service and the ministries, the departments and agencies, actually the implementation arm of the federal government, right? So you need it to be very effective. If not, the country will be on its knees. So that's there, right there. So any government that tries to implement the report is taking a good step, a good first, because I said there are several other steps, a good first step in the right direction. But key questions arise immediately, and that is number one, is President Tinubu really serious about executing this report to the end? It is far-reaching and really deep, and that's why when your first guest was talking about job losses, I have that question. I said, the government earlier today, when the announcement was made, said that there would be no job losses. It's impossible to see how that will not happen, because if you go back to the first Oronsaye report, the original report, it says that if it's executed in the way it should be done, 102 heads of agencies and parastatals are expected to lose their jobs. And I think that is in tandem with the purpose. If nobody is losing their job, it means that at the end of execution, you remain with the same wage bill. That means nothing has happened, or not much has happened, and that means it defeats the purpose and intentions that were set up in the first place. So it is a sensitive decision to be made, and yes, everybody has used the word courage. Yes, it's courageous. However, are you sincere in doing that? Then number two, there are implications all through. You might have to prepare severance packages for people. You might have to just let some people go. You might have to also spend money in rationalizing all of this, in setting up, merging. You have to spend some money. So those are implications. Then thirdly, there's a little bit of murmur I was hearing today and talking to a couple of people, and it's that the Labour Party is now saying that the government has plagiarized this particular decision from the Obidati manifesto, that it was not in President Tinubu's manifesto. So how is it that now they're coming out with it, that they haven't even thought through it, but because Labour is going on protest, they thought, they set up a committee and thought, let's just announce this and it will be good for us. So there are a couple of quotes I got from the Labour side, and someone said, right, let them, the APC, show us where Oronsaye report was mentioned in their manifesto. If it was a priority, why expand ministries and agencies in the first place? You know that this government created more ministries. Yeah. Exactly. Their halting approach does not just work. This insincerity is palpable. First cut means that half of President Tinubu's appointees will have to go, if you're serious. Even President Tinubu's appointees will have to go. You have 36 state governors, and then you have 48 ministers. I mean,
isn't it a contradiction, actually?
Exactly.
When you say you're going to rationalize, minimize government and all of that, but you're coming in, your very first cabinet is the highly bloated, Nigeria's largest cabinet in history.
That means it wasn't your priority from the word go to cut cost of governance. However, if you are here now that you have realized the importance of doing this, you have to go all the way. So it's not only about Oronsaye report. In the civil service, if you really want it to be a strong machine for delivering government, you have to go in and look at issues of over-bloated contracts, bogus contracts, pilfering, money disappearance, unimplemented budget. All of these things have to be done in order to have a clean civil service.
All right. Well, I thought the DGBPSR was also sounding very political at some point on those issues, because they wouldn't want to tell you some of that. But very quickly, talk to us about some of those large organizations, agencies that we have thought will be mentioned, like merging merging FRSC with the police, ICPC and EFCC. We didn't see all of that. Most of these agencies, people are even criticizing and say, where have these agencies been? Some small, insecure agencies are the ones we are hearing of.
So again, you have to ask the question, is this an afterthought? If it is an afterthought, they still have some time. A committee has been set up. Look at it again. If you want to do it properly, follow that report. You would see, I mean, it was a thorough job that was done by that committee. So follow it through, look at it, and if you are sincere and you want to do a good job, you will pick a lot from that report, and then you do the right thing, not just, because you want to be politically popular at this point where there are street protests being organized all across Nigeria. Well, this is serious business. If you want to do it, then do it well. Even
though it wasn't the manifesto, isn't it right for the president, whenever he has a rethink, to actually do whatever?
Of course.
Maybe.
Of course,
okay, on the Edo issue, what do you make of, the APC and its talk here and there of reuniting? And of course, Adams Oshomole seems to be the big elephant in the room. It looks like he's aggrieved, actually.
Well, he's aggrieved. Well, most godfathers become aggrieved at some point, because you cannot be godfather forever. You're not the owner of the party. You're not the owner of the people. So the will of the people have to prevail. I mean, your guest was talking about mending fences, let's come together. It's always that. People fight, and at the end of the day, they have to build alliances, because at the general election, you're facing other parties. I think most times politicians do the wrong thing and expect. There are so many injustices carried out at election primaries, and then you expect people to come together. It's really tough, to bring them back together. But we'll see how this plays out. They have a couple of months, together. Yeah, September is the election, so there is some time to do some internal work of cohesion.
All right, we must thank you so much, Dr. Constance Ikokwu is a Rise News analyst. She's also a journalist who is renowned for her political analysis. We must thank you so much, because it's a field that only very few females You're
welcome, Sambo.
Well, that's how it's been for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Do join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Goodbye and thank you for watching. I'm Sambo.